principle of powers states that if an equation a equals b is true, then a to the n power is equal to b to the n power is also true for any rational number n for which a to the n and b to the n exist. So this means that we're going to have to check our original equation to be sure that they work. And if a value does not work, it is called an extraneous solution and is not included in our final answer. Let's begin with this example. The square root of 5x plus 3 is equal to 7. Now to get rid of our square root, what I'm going to want to do is square both sides of the equation, and this is going to get rid of our square root. And on the right side, so on the left, we're going to have 5x plus 3, and on the right side, we're going to have 7 squared is equal to 49. Now I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides, and we're left with 5x is equal to 46. Now I'm going to divide by 5 on each side, and that's going to give us our x is equal to 46 over 5. Now we can test the solution by plugging it back into our original equation. So square root of 5 times our x is 46 over 5. 46 over 5 plus 3 is equal to 7. 5 times 46 over 5, our 5's are going to divide out, and we're going to be left with the square root of 46 plus 3 is equal to 7. 46 plus 3 is 49. So square root of 49 is equal to 7, and that is actually true. The square root of 49 is 7. So this checks out. Our next equation, we have two radicals. We have the square root of 4x minus 9 minus the square root of 2x. I want to isolate one of these radicals, and we can actually isolate them both at the same time. If we add square root of 2x to both sides, this means that our 2x on the left is going to subtract out. And then on the left, we're just going to have square root of 4x minus 9 is equal to the square root of 2x. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to square both sides to get rid of the radicals. That means that on the left, we're going to have 4x minus 9 is equal to 2x. And then from here, this becomes simple algebra. I'm going to subtract 2x from the left, and I'm going to add 9 to both sides. This leaves us with 2x on the left is equal to 9 on the right. X is equal to 9 halves. So that's going to be our answer. We can now check our answer by plugging it back in to the original equation. Square root of 4 times 9 halves minus 9 minus square root of 2 times 9 halves is equal to 0. 4 times 9 halves. Well, we can divide out one of the 2's, and we're going to be left with a 2 right here. So then it just becomes 2 times 9 is 18 minus 9, and that's all under the square root, minus the square root 2 times 9 halves. So the 2's are going to divide out, and we're going to be left with just 9 in our radical, and that's equal to 0. Square root 18 minus 9 is just 9, minus the square root of 9 is equal to 0, and this checks out. Our next problem, again, we want to isolate our radical. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add an x to both sides. This is going to leave us with the square root of 3 minus x on the left is equal to x plus 3 on the right. I'm going to square both sides to get rid of this radical. So on the left, we're left with 3 minus x is equal to x plus 3 squared. We have to take the FOIL of this, so we have to do the whole multiply by the outsides and insides and the middles. This is going to give us x squared plus 6x plus 9 when we expand out. Now it's just a matter of isolating your x's, or actually, since this is a polynomial, we're going to move everything to one side of the equation. So we're going to subtract 3 and add an x to both sides. Subtract 3 plus x. This is going to leave us with 0 on the left is equal to x squared plus 7x plus 6. We have to find our x values. What we could do is we can do x plus 6 and x plus 1. X plus 6, x plus 1. And these are the factors of x squared plus 7x plus 6. That means that x plus 6 can be set to 0, to equal to 0, and x plus 1 can be set to equal to 0 as well. So then our x's are either -6 or -1. So we have our two x's, -6 and -1. We can now plug those back into our original equation. X is equal to -6 or -1. Let's try -6 first. Square root of 3 minus -6 minus -6 is equal to 3. 3 minus -6, that means it's 3 plus 6, and that's going to be 9. So the square root of 9 plus 6 is equal to 3. The square root of 9 is 3. 3 plus 6. Oh, I don't know why I wrote this 6 right here. There's still a 3. 3 plus 6 does not equal 3. So then we know that one of our answers is an extraneous solution, and it's not included in our final answer. So we're not going to include -6. Let's redo this with -1 now. Square root 3 minus -1 minus -1 is equal to 3. Now 3 minus -1, that means our negative becomes a positive. So it becomes 3 plus 1. That's the square root of 3 plus 1 minus -1. That becomes a positive as well. So plus 1 is equal to 3. Square root of 3 plus 1 is square root of 4. Square root of 4 plus 1 is equal to 3. And square root of 4 is 2 plus 1 is equal to 3. Then we're left with 3 is equal to 3. And this answer checks out because 3 is equal to 3. That means that our only solution is x is equal to -1. That's our final answer. This next problem is a little more difficult because we have two radicals and we have a whole number. So I still want to isolate one of these two radicals, and I'm going to isolate the square root of 4y plus 1 just because this is a negative, so I can add it to the other side and keep everything positive. So I'm going to add square root of y minus 2 to both sides. So this is going to give us the square root of 4y plus 1 on the left is equal to 3 plus the square root of y minus 2. Now I'm going to do the same thing as before. I'm going to square both sides. This leaves us with 4y plus 1 on the left is equal to, this one we actually have to expand it. So 3, I'm gonna remove this square and I'm just gonna multiply it by itself. 3 plus square root of y minus 2. So then we're left with 3 times 3 is 9. 9 plus 3 times square root of y minus 2 is going to be 3 square root of y minus 2. And because we have the same thing on the inside and the outside, that means it's going to be 3 plus 3 square root of y minus 2 plus 3 times square root of y minus 2. And that's just going to leave us with a 6 square root of y minus 2 plus the square root of y minus 2 times the square root of y minus 2 is just going to leave us a y minus 2. So then our answer down here is 9 plus 6 square root of y minus 2 plus y minus 2. Now what I want to do is I'm going to just combine everything that's similar, or your like terms. We're going to stay on the left side and do 4y plus 1 because we don't have any like terms on the left. On the right, we're going to have 9 minus 2 is 7 plus y plus 6 square root of y minus 2. Now I'm going to subtract 7 and y so I can isolate this radical. So subtract 7 and subtract y from both sides. And we're left with 3y minus 6 is equal to 6 square root y minus 2. And right here we can divide out the common factor of 3. So we divide everything by 3 and we're going to be left with y minus 2 is equal to 2 square root of y minus 2. I'm going to square both sides now. Square. Now our left side becomes y squared minus 4y plus 4 is equal to 4y minus 2. I'm going to distribute this 4 times y minus 2. It's going to be 4y minus 8 is equal to the same as our left side stays the same. 4y plus 4. Now I'm going to subtract 4y and I'm going to add 8 to both sides. So that's going to leave us with y squared minus 8y plus 12 is equal to 0. And when we figure this one out, it's going to be y minus 6 and y minus 2. That means our answers are either y is either equal to 6 or 2. So now we go back to our original equation. If we plug in 6 or 2, one of these answers should work, or both of these answers should work. So square root of 4 times 6 plus 1 minus square root of 6 minus 2 is equal to 3. Well, 4 times 6 is 24, plus 1 is 25. So that means this is the square root of 25, which is 5, minus 6 minus 2. The square root of 6 minus 2 is 4, and the square root of 4 is 2. So that's square root of 4 is equal to 3, and then it's equal to 2. So 5 minus 2 is equal to 3. So 6 checks out. 6 checks out. Now let's repeat that with our 2. So we're just going to replace the 6 with the 2. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9. The square root of 9 is 3. 3 minus square root of 2 minus 2, that's 0, so that equals 0. So minus 0 is equal to 3. And this checks out. That means that both of our answers work. So y is equal to 6 or 2.